Hi, it's Chef Rick, and today I'm going to make Eggs Benedict.
First thing we're going to do for this Eggs Benedict is make the hollandaise sauce. So we need to melt some butter on a very, very low heat. Melt this until it's nearly all liquid, and then take it off the heat, and the remaining the heat in the pan is going to melt any of the rest of that butter. You don't want it to boil. Leave that on one side, and now we're going to make a bain-marie. A bain-marie, as we've done before when cooking eggs or things like chocolate, is where we'll put a bowl over a pan of simmering water, so there's no direct heat touching it. So into the bowl, 2 egg yolks, which we'll just whisk with a normal whisk, and just a little splash of white wine vinegar. Normal whisk all the way through this one. You can use an electric, but a normal whisk is just as easy. This is a very kind of thin sauce. There's no it doesn't get really tiring. It's just, you feel like you're much more in control when using a normal whisk. So we're whisking together the egg yolks and the white wine vinegar, just till it's all nice and combined. As always, scraping up around the edge, checking the bain-marie, just making sure that doesn't suddenly start boiling and getting too hot, because you've got egg yolks in here which are cooking very, very, very slowly, which is why this sauce is going to thicken so well. Now we're going to add our melted butter. A splash at a time, about that much is fine. You don't need to drip it in drop by drop like you do with the mayonnaise, but you don't want to pour it all in one go. You want to make sure that it's all combined. So basically, in between each of these little edits, you'll just see now in a minute I start pouring the butter in, but I'm probably whisking it just like that for about a minute. You can see that it's combining, so you'll see once it goes in, you'll see it's kind of separate. It's the thick liquid and then the thin butter that we've put in, but just whisk it for, what's that, 10 seconds after I poured it in, and you can tell that it's already combined. Adding it bit by bit like this, it's just going to stop it splitting. And as I say, I'm probably leaving it about a minute in between each of these pours of butter. I'm going to keep on doing this. I'm just going to keep on whisking it for, like I say, for around about a minute, combining it all, and then adding splash more butter. Whilst I do that, I'm going to ask you if you could like my video. Well, if you do like my videos, please hit like, and if you could also hit subscribe at the bottom. Doesn't cost you anything, but it's really good for me, so thank you very much if you do choose to do that. Look at it now, you can see it's getting really nice and shiny. As I say, the heat that's coming from the bottom is going to be slowly kind of warming and cooking the eggs and thickening them. If it was too hot, if you did this straight in a pan and not in a bain-marie, then the eggs would just catch on the bottom and cook. It would be scrambled egg. So sometimes when people make a custard or a sauce like this that's egg based, they often go, oh, it turned into scrambled egg, and you think, oh, did he mean the texture? It's literally, it turns into scrambled egg. That's what it would be. It would be eggs that are just cooked directly. But you can see by adding this butter, which is warm, we didn't put the butter in like bubbling away either, because adding really, really hot butter into a pan with eggs is going to start cooking them as well, which is why we let the butter cool on the side, but keep it as a liquid. Bit by bit, that's the last bit of it now. It's the last of the butter. That's pretty much our hollandaise sauce. Texture wise anyway, so you just keep whisking this just till it's nice and combined, as you've done with every other time that you've added it. But you can tell now that it's getting to a lovely texture. You just see how shiny it is. There we go. So now I'm going to take it off the heat. So turn the heat off. One last whisk, and then I'm just going to bring it over to the side. Now I'm going to keep that bowl over the pan, just so there's warmth coming up from the bottom. And then to that, I've just added some lemon juice. You're always going to add that little splash of lemon juice and this salt and pepper. So lemon juice, salt and pepper, but just a splash of lemon juice. A nice pinch of salt and a healthy amount of pepper. I think using a black pepper and a nice amount of it, not only does it give it flavour, but I think the little flecks of black pepper in it really kind of set off a hollandaise sauce. Taste it. This is where you're determining how much more lemon juice it needs. And this is totally up to you. Sometimes if I'm doing this with seafood, with the salmon, I'll put almost 2 lemons in it and I'll call it like a lemon hollandaise. But for this, that's going to be absolutely perfect. Leave that on the side. Take an English muffin, chop it in half, and put it in your toaster, ready to go. Don't put it down yet, but just put it in your toaster. That's your bread. And chives is going to be not just decoration for this, we're going to use a fair bit of chive, and I think it adds so much flavour as well. So prep your chives in advance, take a packet of chives and just push them all down so they're the same length, and use scissors or a sharp knife and just trim them like that, and that's how you'll get nice uniform small bits of chive. And now we're going to poach the eggs. So I would always put the egg into a small ramekin just like that. Take a pan of water, just water, not too deep, and just a splash of any type of vinegar. I just use a malt vinegar. That's a few squirts. You'll just, if I'm using malt vinegar, I do it just to turn the water golden like that. And I get it to a simmer, so you can see that there's a couple of big bubbles, but generally they're small poppy bubbles. It's not boiling, it's simmering. And carefully as you can, lower the egg in. Don't start whisking it into a centre, don't do any of that clever stuff, just be careful as you lower it in. You see as I lowered mine in, it fell slightly to the left, so you got a slightly longer poached egg, so I was trying to be a bit clearer for the camera. If you can drop it directly downwards, if you like, it'll form itself in a little bit better. But just carefully add the eggs like that. You see the first egg that we're going to work with is the one that we put in first, so I'll just leave it for a moment just to find itself, because if you start interfering with it at this point with any sort of metal spoons, then some of the white can start to break apart a little bit more. But now it's just found itself, so all I'm doing is just moving it there, just making sure it's not touching the bottom of the pan. And that's perfect. That egg's now just poaching away, as is of course the other one. I'll move the pan around here just so you can see the other egg. So you see the other egg, as I've moved the pan, I've seen the other egg's moving. It's clearly not stuck to the bottom of the pan, but I'll still just give it a little move around. The top of that egg on the left now, because you can see the yolk there, I'll just splash some water over the top, just some of the piping hot water, just so it can cook evenly all over. Every so often, I take them out and just give them a wobble. Now that, you can see there that the yolk is wobbling, but also there's a bit of the white wobbling as well. It's a bit easier to show on that one because the yolk bit's obviously wobbling. But if the white's wobbling as well, it's not ready. There, see I'm wobbling it and just the yolk's wobbling and all the white's not moving, that one's done. Same with that one, nice clear example, lovely wobbly yolk, but the white isn't wobbling at all, so that's all perfectly cooked. Put those onto either a clean tea towel like that or some kitchen roll. Season them with salt and pepper. Here's your English muffins, so just spread a little bit of real butter on there. I have done this really simply. You can do eggs Benedict any ways you like, but I just top this with some ham. You can use ham or smoked salmon or ham and spinach, smoked salmon and spinach. There's so many different ways you can do this, but this is a very simple, very basic eggs Benedict. So it's just the toasted buttered muffins there, that lovely ham, your 2 perfectly poached eggs on top, and then the hollandaise. Not too much. If people want more, they can have more, but if you suddenly drown it in hollandaise, you want your main sauce in this to be your egg yolk, which is just perfect. Don't disguise a badly done egg with too much hollandaise. Get your eggs right. Chives on top. Again, it is a garnish and it does look cool, but it adds an amazing, beautiful oniony flavour. And something you say I never do in these videos is show you what it looks like when you cut into it and actually take a bite. So there you go. This is me just having a lovely bite of this. You know, it's perfect. Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. That one's a little messy, so here we go. I did a slightly nicer cross section for you so you can see it cut into and you can see that yolk. Eggs Benedict, it's an absolute classic. It's very, very, very simple, but it's also really posh and it's kind of a bit of a dazzler if you've got guests staying over. I really hope you enjoy it. I really hope you make it. Thank you so much for watching the video. Please hit like, please hit subscribe. And that's it. I'll see you on the next one.